earlier one you go back, but we discussed about system 1 and system 2. Kahneman introduces the concept. He says that system 1 operates automatically. So it talks about two systems of thinking, okay, which is the foundation of our kind of a human cognition. He talks about that, like he says that the fast or automatic system, which is called system 1, he says, and the slow and deliberate, which is system 2, and explains how they work in various situations. Okay, now these are the foundation for understanding, okay, the two distinct models of thinking. He says that the central idea of the book is talks about that is a two distinctive cognitive system, which is fast and slow. That the book is all about, the thinking fast and thinking slow. Now characteristics, he talks about that the system 1, it is is a fast thinking system which handles routine tasks like recognizing faces, completing simple calculations, and it is associative, often emotional, and operates without conscious awareness. So system 2 is more kind of a conscious, and it is a slower process because of there is deliberate attempt, or um, so you are consciously doing things, okay, not unconsciously. Now today we'll discuss about, in earlier we discussed about biases and heuristics, okay. Now, so what are those? Okay, because if you remember, so he discusses a range of cognitive biases and heuristics, or mental shortcuts, that leads to errors in judgment. Okay, and we will discuss about that in bit more in detail about bias and heuristics. What does he mean about that? So that means he says that these two systems, okay, because they play important role, and they lead to cognitive biases. So that means, thinking wise, you think in a way to support few things, or your mind kind of incline and you think something is right. So that is what how your brain works. So we'll discuss about this in detail. So now the biases, okay. Now cognitive biases, he says that the tendency or patterns of thoughts that cause people to perceive information and make judgments in a consistently irrational and inaccurate way. Okay, so that means you are biased towards certain things. So these biases stem from limitation of human attention, memory, and processing capacity, and they can influence our beliefs, attitudes, and decisions without our conscious awareness. So that means we are not conscious about why I am thinking, or why I am in support of certain things. That is called the cognitive biases. Okay, now let's talk about in detail anchoring bias. So that means he talks about different biases and how that gets developed. Okay, now anchoring bias, the tendency to rely heavily on the first piece of information encountered when making decisions, even if that information is arbitrary and irrelevant. Now availability heuristic, judging the likelihood of an event based on how easily examples of the event come to mind. So that means your mind, there are examples which are available, so you can quickly get that you have an example in front of you, and you are biased. That means you feel like, okay, this is what is correct, because you may not have examples of the other things. Okay, so that means, for example, you think that, okay, this person is right, okay, because you have seen that person doing certain things, and you have that in your memory, that you know and that is the reason why this person is right. But you may not have the information about the other person, doing it right, and that is where it leads to a cognitive bias. Okay, you will be biased towards the first person. So availability heuristic is all about, even in recent examples. Okay, so that means something happened recently. Okay, for example, we judge ourselves as well. Okay, now if certain things happen recently, where, let's take for an example, you are humiliated by someone. Okay, so you have that in fresh in your memory, but probably 10 years back something happened and you have been encouraged. Okay, and you have been appreciated, but that is not fresh in your memory. So the availability heuristic is all about you looking at the recent phenomenon, recent event. Your mind look has that thing available, and it takes a decision, or it takes it's kind of an opinion based on the recent um, uh, things or recent phenomena which is fresh in your memory. Confirmation biases, the inclination to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs and opinions. That means you are just wanted to confirm that whatever is your belief is correct. Okay, so that means your belief, which is ingrained within your thought process, you just want to confirm, and you are that something happened, and you are kind of in confirmation that, okay, whatever is your belief, that is the correct one. So that means it's just to confirm, uh, you know your belief may be completely wrong, or maybe someone else belief is different than your belief. Okay, but you just want to confirm your belief, and that is how you take decisions. Hindsight biases, the tendency to believe after an event has occurred that one would have predicted or expected the event all along. Okay, hindsight biases, that means hindsight, the tendency to believe after an event has occurred that one would have predicted or expected the event all along. So that means something happened, you think or believe that that was destined to happen, or that you thought that would happen anyway. Okay, because as the event has already passed. Okay, hindsight biases. Okay, so you are watching a match, and or a match is over, and somebody told you that this is the result of the match. You said, okay, that I would have, I knew about it, because it's already passed, the event has already occurred. So, and the overconfidence biases, the tendency to overestimate one's own ability, knowledge, and the accuracy of one's predictions. Okay, loss aversion, the preferences for avoiding losses over acquiring gains. Okay, leading to irrational decision making in risk related situations. um, so loss avoidance is few people have the tendency, for example, you're an investment strategy. Okay, you look into an investment strategy, or you support a strategy just to avoid the losses, but not thinking of gaining. Okay, so what are heuristics then? Heuristics are mental shortcuts or strategies. Okay, now the author talks about that system one, which is fast and intuitive thinking, uses to quickly make judgments and decisions. Okay, so heuristics are kind of fast. It's not deliberate one. You are not thinking about it. It's a natural. So heuristics are often efficient and and save time. They can also lead to errors and biases in certain situations. Some common heuristics that the author discusses about is representativeness heuristic, okay, availability heuristics, substitution heuristic, anchoring heuristics, and affect heuristic. What is representativeness heuristics? Judging the likelihood of an event based on how closely it resembles a prototype or stereotype, even if resemblance is superficial. Availability heuristic, as mentioned earlier, so making judgments based on the ease with which relevant examples come in mind. Okay, we discussed about that. Okay, something fresh in memory. Substitution heuristic, when faced with a complex question, system one, which is fast and automatic, substitutes it with a simpler related question that can be answered more easily. And anchoring heuristics, using an initial piece of information as a reference point, adjusting judgments and estimates from that point. Okay, even if initial anchor is arbitrary. Okay, anchoring, so you have something in your mind already, initial piece of information, and you take that as an example or a reference point. And affect heuristic, okay, making decision based on emotions or feelings associated with a particular choice rather than rational evaluation of the options. All right, so with that, hope it made some sense to you. So we got up to understand, once you understand about these biases and cognitive biases and why these gets formed and different kinds of biases, hopefully, when you are taking a decision or you're thinking about or making an opinion, so we know that it's maybe because of these factors. Okay, so with that, we are done, and hope to speak to you soon then.